We've got a great stream for you tonight. Oh, yeah, we haven't done a live stream like this for a long time. Real quick, before we get to that stream, we got football streams tomorrow. First, at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, Commanders at Eagles. And second, the biggest game of the night, or what could be the biggest game of the night, Bills Chiefs. Oh, yeah. We're doing it. Now, we got a big stream coming up for you right now. Looking at all the Dodgers offseason signings. From Roki Sasaki to Tanner Scott, from Hyun Kim to Kirby Yates to even more, even Blake Snell. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Dodger baseball.
Time for Dodger baseball. There they go. Throw to third. Beats him, but he got his foot in. The 50th for Ohtani. Ohtani sends on the air. The other way. Back it goes. Gone! Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. What about the Dodgers? They not like us. You guys wanted a parade? We got a parade. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Gibby, meet Freddie. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series. Welcome, the 2024 World Series champion, Los Angeles Dodgers.
You heard him first. Ice Cube, baby. The Los Angeles Dodgers are live right now. Well, we are. They are world champions. And we're going to get to absolutely everything tonight. Oh, it's a big night. We were supposed to do the stream hours ago, but technical difficulties got in the way. Welcome to everybody. I want to remind everyone to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Press the post notification bell. I'm sorry. Press the post notification bell so you don't miss another one of these videos. Now, also welcome to those of you on Twitter. We are live on Twitter as well. We're going to let everyone get a little bit more comfortable while I check on a couple things here. And let me see what's going on with my phone here because it's not working. Let's just do this. Let's see what those on X are doing. Let's see what those on X are doing. Let's see here. Thank you to those 16 of you that are viewing this right now. For those of you that are live on Twitter, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe as well to J Sports on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at FluffyJA97. Again, that's FluffyJA97. I'm there on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on TikTok at JSports58. Again, that's at JSports58. So, anyway, we're going to get started. Now, this first part of the stream is a little bit difficult to talk about. It is Shohei Ohtani's interpreter. Okay. Shohei Ohtani's interpreter was Ippei Mizuhara. Ippei Mizuhara had a problem called gambling. He couldn't stop. And what happened was the feds came and said, hey, this is going on. We need to investigate. The original story came out on ESPN. Tisha Thompson had released it. And what she had said is that Ippei Mizuhara was stealing more than $16 million, or at least millions of dollars, from Shohei Ohtani's personal accounts for his gambling addiction. It came out, then he was let go as the interpreter. He was fired. Will the Thrill was the new interpreter because he is for absolutely everybody. He was for Kenta Maeda in the past. And guess what? Well, now, after the feds investigated, found Ohtani to be not guilty and not participating in the fraud, he was charged with bank fraud, wire fraud, line, and I mean financial crimes and everything else, all everywhere on the map, right? Well, we're going to talk about what he wants. Yeah, he's asking for less years than what he should get. We're going to play the audio of Ippei Mizuhara lying and defrauding Shohei. What we're going to do is listen to the phone call. And let me just get it here. We're going to listen to the phone call that Ippei had with the banks. And we'll just check out exactly what he did. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to pause the music. And we are going to just listen to this audio because I think it's very important. And then we'll come back and talk about it.
Thank you for calling Line Fraud. This call may be monitored and recorded. Who am I speaking with?
Shohei Ohtani.
Thank you. How may I help you?
So I tried to log in to online banking, and it told me that it's not available to me at this time, and I need to call.
Sure, I can take a look into that. I can take a look into that for you. Okay, it'll be just 1 minute, please, while I access your account.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everything's still coming up for me. It'll be just a few more minutes, please.
Okay. So I tried to make a wire transfer a couple of days ago. They told me that that's probably the reason, so they transferred me to this number.
Okay. Alrighty. Now, the number ending 0373, is that the best contact number for you?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to send a one-time authorization code to your text messaging. Can you provide me with that 6-digit code when it become available?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. 663-368.
Thank you. Alrighty, and could you tell me the name of the payee and the amount of the transaction, please?
The person I'm sending to?
Yes.
It's for $200,000.
Thank you. Alrighty, now recently we come across a trend of fraud and scams, so we have been monitoring the online transactions closely to make sure our clients are not the victim of either. What is the reason for this transaction?
For a car loan?
Okay. You said it's for a car loan?
Yes.
Okay. What is your relationship to the payee?
He's my friend.
Okay. And
No,
have you?
business.
Okay. Have you met your friend in person?
Yeah, many times.
Okay. And I just asked because, we haven't been able to verify the transaction. How did he go about giving you his wire information? Is it something that was given to you over the phone, through email, text messaging?
He emailed to me.
Okay. Did you have the opportunity to verbally speak with the payee and verify the wire information?
Yes, when I see him in person, we talk about
Okay. So you seen him in person and you went over the wire numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. Will there be any future wires to your friend?
Possibly.
Okay. All righty. If I can ask you to bear with me just a few moments, I'm going to take a look into getting this resolved for you, and you'll hear silence as I'm working on it, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, as we can tell, Ippei Mizuhara was, of course, impersonating Shohei Ohtani. That is the truth. And there's no other way to put it than Ippei Mizuhara needs to go to jail. And he will be going to prison. And he will be deported back to Japan. The one thing that he is asking for, and I can't believe he's actually um, uh, asking for a plea at all, right? Um, what he's asking for is one um 1 year in prison. So let me get this straight: you commit fraud against your supposed best friend, okay, and you want the government to only prosecute you and send you to jail for 1 year? I think he's deluded, right? Because I just don't think that you can, if you're Ippei Mizuhara, that you can expect less than a year, less than 4 years in prison, considering all the fraud he committed. Okay. I'm just saying that. I'm not a federal prosecutor. I am not an expert. But now, Ippei Mizuhara, okay, stole actually more than $17 million. Here's another thing that happened. Shohei Ohtani gave Ippei $60,000 for dental care work. $60,000. That's crazy. Can you imagine if someone gave you $60,000 for dental care work? I'll take $60,000 for dental care work. You can buy me for that. Like that. That's what gets to me. So, another problem is that he gave him that $60,000 in a check. Ippei went to the bank, deposited the check in his own account, and then used Shohei's personal debit card without his permission for the dental care work. So he stole money from Shohei. The other thing is that he was saying that he wasn't earning enough. Okay. He was earning about like $150,000 with the Angels, just about. Then he went up to $250,000, or like the numbers could be a little off. And then it went to $500,000 to work for Shohei Ohtani with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Okay. So he did all that. He took the dental care work. Shohei Ohtani also bought him a Porsche. Nice, right? Damn, this sounds like a good job. And gave him extra money on top of that so that Shohei Ohtani could, make his life a little bit easier. And this is how Ippei made his life easier. He took his dog to the vet. He went grocery shopping for him, for Shohei Ohtani. He checked his mailbox. He checked his bank account. He helped in negotiations for contracts. He went with Shohei absolutely everywhere. Helped him when talking to teammates. Helped him when talking to his agents. Helped him when talking to his lawyers. All of that. He did all of that, and he complained he was earning not enough money and working too little, and that at one point he only had 4 days off to just rest, or 5 days off, and that wasn't enough for him. Let me just ask if anyone can comment in the chat, or at least on Twitter. Okay? If anyone can comment on Twitter or the chat, let me know if someone offered you that deal. If someone offered you that deal, hey, you get to work for Shohei Ohtani, the greatest baseball player in the freaking world, on the planet. You have to take his dog to the vet, take his dog to the groomers, go through his mailbox, negotiate his contracts with him, and let him know what they're doing, interpret for him, go grocery shopping for him. Here's $500,000. Here's a Porsche. Here's some extra money. Here's $60,000 for dental care work. Tell me you guys wouldn't take that deal. I would. Maybe I'm just some dummy. Maybe I'm stupid, but I would. I'd be taking that deal right away. Right? So the other thing is that Ippei Mizuhara kept all. So when Shohei Ohtani, who met Ippei when he was 13, when Shohei was 13. So he was like 10 years older. They became good friends. I don't know how that happens. When he met him and they came to America to play with the Angels, Ippei Mizuhara helped him set up the bank account. Well, when he set up the bank account, Ippei had the routing number, the account number, the passwords, the email, all the pertinent information, the phone number attached to the account, all the pertinent information that you would need to access the account, right? And his agent, his lawyers, his CPA, his financial advisor, his lawyers, everyone asked for that information. Ippei lied and said, "Oh no, Shohei would like to keep all that private." At some point, yes, but I make the argument, okay, if he wanted to keep that private, why is it that Ippei wouldn't just, or Shohei would not just let go of the financial advisor, the CPA, and the lawyers, or at least the CPA and the financial manager? Why would he keep them? It's a blatant lie. It is a blatant lie. That's the thing. And unfortunately, I don't know. He's asking for less, for a year or less. I guarantee you he's not going to get it. I guarantee you they're at least going to go for 2.5, 3 years. The lawyers for Ippei are not making him seem like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I have remorse, like, oh, woe is me. They're making him seem entitled. They're making him look entitled. And that's not the message you want to go for when the jury, if this goes for a jury, is going to be filled with average, middle class, and lower class Americans who don't make $500,000 a year, own a Porsche, whose employer gives them $60,000 for dental care work, and who gives them extra money on top of the $500K. Oh, by the way, they traveled the world together. They went to all the baseball stadiums together. They went to the All-Star games together. They went to MLB dinners together. I mean, they literally, quite literally, were rock stars together. Imagine that life. And the problem is, you're going to try and convince the American public that he didn't make enough money when people don't make enough money here? Well, you've got to be kidding me. Because if I'm on that jury and I'm looking at the facts and you're presenting him as a lowly entitled person, I'm gonna be like, okay, guilty. I'm gonna give him like 10 years. Or the max I can give him. I'm just saying. Right? I'm just checking something here. So I'm just looking at some new things here. All right. Hold on. For some reason, my computer is being a little weird. So while my computer decides to not work, thank you for all of you that are watching. All 25 of you. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Press the post notification bell so you don't miss another one of these clips. Video shorts, live streams, community posts that we post. Follow me on TikTok at JSports58. Support me on PayPal. Yeah, support us on PayPal. We have the PayPal. Let me put this in the chat here. I'm going to put this in the chat before I get back to talking about Ippei. Well, let me grab it here. Here. I'm gonna post this in the chat here. Let me go down here. Also, I am on Twitter at FluffyJA97, on Instagram, on Twitter. Hold on a second. Here, let me just. So here's the link. I will post it in the chat now. There you go. So anyway, all right. Thank you so much for all of that, ladies and gentlemen. And I really appreciate it. Dodger fans, those of you that aren't Dodger fans but you're watching, really appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for the 24 of you that are watching, by the way, on Twitter. We've got 30 views in total on Twitter. So we're doing, for a small channel, we're doing pretty okay. So thank you so much to all of you. So they are making him look, getting back to Ippei, they are making him look like an entitled ass. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to buy it. I'm not sitting here going, oh my God, I feel bad for Ippei. And by the way, I got to say something about the haters before we move on, because we got another Shohei thing that I'd like to, I want to make it a little bit more positive. All of you haters, like our good friend Tyler Gillette, by the way, that sad ass Yankee fan, he's still crying over the World Series loss that they had. But we won, so that's what matters. Anyway, and I'm wearing my Gibby Meets Freddy shirt, by the way. Those of you haters that said, "Oh my God, Shohei's the problem. He's the gambler, and Ippei's taking the fall." I hope that audio that I played, because he didn't even try and impersonate him. He just said, "I'm Shohei Ohtani. Oh, I'm Shohei Ohtani." So does that mean I can just say I'm Shohei Ohtani? Can we all be Shohei Ohtani? We're not as rich, but can we all be Shohei? I'm just asking. So all of you haters that said that he had the gambling problem, I hope y'all gotta suck it. Let me flip this mic around a little bit. There we go. Y'all gotta suck it, because yeah, you guys are dumb for thinking, oh my God, he's got the problem, when he doesn't. So that is the update. We'll definitely update more as the investigation goes on and as the feds release more info on it. Now, let's get to something more positive on Shohei. Something a little bit more positive is, I guess they had an MLB awards show. I'm not sure what the audio is or what the awards show was. But let me grab it here. I'm not sure what the awards show was. It was recent, however. Shohei Ohtani, of course, won the NL MVP award. He is a World Series champion. He was he was awarded the highest contract ever in baseball history, in sports history, until Juan Soto came around. Is Juan Soto really worth that much money? I'm sorry, but I don't think so. Like, I'm sorry, but I just don't think that he's worth all that money. Right? So, he was awarded all that. He comes in, he goes 6 for 6 in a game. He hits 3 home runs in Miami, scores 5 runs, 10 runs batted in. He hits 48, 49, and 50 in Miami. He steals 50 and 51 on the bases. And he has an amazing season. He hits the 40-40 club. He starts the 50-50 club, and he's the lone member there. He'll probably be at 60-60 before anyone else catches him in the 50-50 club. Point is, Shohei Ohtani was one of the best players in all of baseball. And by the way, okay, just because he hurt his shoulder in the World Series, a lot of people try and say, "Oh, well, he didn't do much in the postseason." That's absolutely false, because you know what happened against the Padres? The Dodgers were struggling. Okay, he was actually struggling. The Dodgers were struggling. They were actually struggling against the Padres until Shohei comes up and hits a 3-run bomb and gets the Dodgers to win that game in the winning position. Without Shohei, we're not in the World Series. Just saying, we're no longer in the postseason. So he had to give a speech from home because of the LA fires. It is devastating even the rich and famous, including Shohei and his whole family. And he had to give his speech from home. It is in English. So here's what we'll do. Here's the speech. What we're going to do is we're going to mute again. We're going to let you guys hear, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
As I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, the NL MVP could not be with us tonight as he deals with some of the stuff going on back in LA. But Shohei was kind enough to send along his well wishes in a video acceptance speech, which we will play now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I could not attend this year's BBWAA Hours dinner. Given the recent devastating fires in Los Angeles that affected us, it already made it very difficult for so many reasons for me and my family to attend. My thoughts and prayers go out to all those families who lost their homes and loved ones, all of those affected by the fires, and all the animals displaced or lost. The recent fires really hit the heart of Los Angeles, and we are all trying to participate, small or big, to help in any way we can. I would like to thank the BBWAA for this special NL MVP award. This year was a very special year in so many ways, and there are a lot of people to thank. I would like to start off by thanking the entire Los Angeles Dodgers organization for the opportunity they give me to play for this historical franchise. Thank you to all the owners led by Mark Walter, to the entire front office, especially Stan Kasten, Ron Rosen, Andrew Friedman, Brandon Gomez. To all my teammates and the coaching staff, trainers, strength coaches, crybabies, and all the behind the scenes staff for the helping and encouraging me throughout the year. And lastly, to the fans, I felt your support every day. Also, a special shout out to Will Ayrton. To my support group, starting with my agent, Nes Valero. Thank you for all you do. CAA Sports, Matt, Julia, Carly, thank you. To my beautiful wife, thank you for always being there for me, and to my family and friends for their support. Lastly, I wanted to dedicate this award to the entire city of Los Angeles, to all the first responders, firefighters, and to all of the fire departments for their heroic efforts to combat these fires in Los Angeles. Stay strong and united. We will get through this. Thank you.
Wow, what an awesome speech by Shohei Ohtani, and I just adore this player. I adore him. I love him a lot, and I mean honestly, he's a role model to tens of millions of Japanese people around the world, and we are lucky to have the country of Japan behind our Los Angeles Dodgers. And I think what it shows is that baseball is a beautiful sport, and that having someone like Shohei involved in baseball, and having so many international prospects from South Korea, from Mexico, from Japan, from Dominican Republic, from so many descents, Asian descent, Native American descent, um, you know, uh, Mexican descent, just everywhere. I think South Korean, just Korean descent. It is absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see what the support looks like in Japan when they play the Cubs in Tokyo in March. And Shohei Ohtani, just a beautiful speech there. His English isn't the greatest, right? But you can tell that he appreciates every bit of that award, and the fact that he thanked the first responders for doing the work that a lot of us wouldn't do. They're running to the fires, and LA, the community of LA, though rallying together, is trying to run away from them to not get hurt, killed, or injured. And yeah, the animals, and I like how he brought up the animals, and he thanks his wife, he thanks his family, he thanked his entire team and the Dodgers. So and the organization itself, the front office. So I really like that speech. I think Shohei is just an amazing player. I think it's just amazing that we got a player like him on the Dodgers, and I can't wait to see more of what he does this coming year. Okay. Let's get to a video from Doug McCain and Dodgers Nation. Let me present this to you guys. So Dodgers Nation had an interview with Buster Olney, and they were talking about the Dodgers. So they're going to talk about the Dodgers, their offseason spending spree, and what they did to improve this team. Now, all I will say is they're going to talk about a lot, and I will kind of go into it as well. And the Dodgers are not ruining baseball, but we'll talk about it. Let's go ahead and watch this. I did speed it up so we could go a little bit faster.
Awesome. The first one I asked you, Buzz, we talked a little bit about it before the show. Now you're kind of in, okay, are the Dodgers kind of what the Yankees were in the late 90s and the 2000s? I mean, a lot's going to be made about that team being the last team to repeat. We haven't had a repeat champion in Major League Baseball since 2000. But the first one I ask you, though, is considering the Dodgers are a reigning champion, is this the most aggressive you've ever seen a team be, just the offseason following a World Series title?
Certainly, since I've been covering baseball, without a doubt. I mean, it has just felt like every day brings news of another big signing by the Dodgers, and it just goes and goes and goes. What's $1.7 billion committed over the course of this offseason to a team that won the World Series? It's pretty remarkable. It's getting a lot of conversations in baseball, as you know. There are people around the sport who will, on one hand, say, hey, it's not only about the Dodgers and their money, but it's about building a great culture. They clearly have a fun team. I think there are players who now gravitate toward the Dodgers as a place where they want to be. And that can change from year to year in baseball. I think in recent years, people have loved, for example, the Atlanta Braves clubhouse, and players at times have talked about the Phillies clubhouse. But right now, the place where a lot of great players want to be is with the Dodgers. So all those factors are going in to put them in this great position. But there's also no question that there's a lot of unhappiness with other teams. The phrase gluttony was used to me by a rival executive over the last week, especially as the Dodgers went from getting Sasaki to getting Tanner Scott, to loading up on their bullpen the way that they have Kirby Yates.
But Buster, if you
Yeah, let me just comment on that. The Dodgers are spending money like it ain't anybody's business, but the Dodgers are worth like $5.2 billion. Like it ain't nobody's business. Yeah, like my friend's texting me. They're worth like 5.2 bill. The Dodgers are not worried about, and I think the Guggenheim Group is worth $100 billion together. The Dodgers are not worried about, oh my God, we can't pay players. It's not the Frank McCourt days when he was struggling to even write checks to the lowest paid players, or players like Dave Roberts, who was a Dodger before, Adrian Beltre, Eric Gagne, Manny Ramirez, Clayton Kershaw, all these guys, Kenley Jansen, just everyone on the team, Matt Kemp. He was struggling. Andre Ethier, James Loney, just all these guys. And the Dodgers don't have that problem. And if people are wanting to come to the Dodgers, think about it. You have 50,000 people every single night. Every night, you got 50-something thousand people or somewhere near it cheering you on. Whether the Dodgers are in a 20-game slump, a 50-game slump, or not, the Dodger faithful are always there. Yeah, I throw tantrums, whatever, right? But we're always there. The stadium is always packed. You got a DJ system, a DJ and a sound crew, and just amazing sounds going on to cheer you on. That's what's going on. I'm thinking of that song from Natalie Imbruglia. That's what's going on. I'm so glad I'm torn. However the song is, right? The point is, guys, people want to be on the Dodgers for a reason. They've got the best development staff in baseball, the best scouting staff, the best trainers, coaches, trainers, pitching prospects. They got the best pitching development staff. They can turn a lackluster, below average hitter into a superstar hitter that when he goes into free agency and if he doesn't stay with the Dodgers, his stock value goes way up like this. They have incredible amenities, the best medical team money can buy. You name it, you go on and on and on. Now they're building, they've built an incredible center field plaza in the right and left field pavilion. They've built bars. They have a lot of restaurants now. They've got food from different origins and different religions and different cultures and creeds, and it's beautiful. Taco Tuesdays and Throwback Thursdays, all of that. One of the best, aside from the Oakland Coliseum, I know like they're suffering, but one of the best postseason atmospheres on the planet. And players want to come to a team that can develop you into the best player you can be, that can win world championships like they did now, that can be that you have a chance to be in the postseason every single year whether you go to the World Series or not, you have a chance to be in the postseason and make something of yourself. You can do all of that with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And if people are unhappy with the way the team is spending, going and getting Mike Soroto, getting Blake Snell, getting Tanner Scott, getting Roki Sasaki, guess what? That's not our fault. That's your guys' fault for not spending, for not creating a culture and a clubhouse and a training staff and a scouting crew and a front office and a management team that attracts players.
If you're the league, last postseason, you had Dodgers-Yankees. It was the most viewed World Series since 2017. You have the face of your sport, the biggest superstar playing in a major market like Los Angeles. There's no way that Rob Manfred in the league has any issue with this, right?
Well, I think that they probably are concerned about the disparity. And if Rob Manfred isn't necessarily concerned, I think small market owners will be concerned. Now, I will tell you, it was more than a decade ago, the Billy Beane, who runs the Oakland Athletics, and this is when the Yankees were sort of the dominant franchise in the sport. You know, he told me about how sometimes fans would complain to him about, the Yankees have an unfair advantage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he defended the Yankees more than anybody. He said, look, it's great for the sport to have a team like the Yankees, the dominant franchise that everybody wants to see. And on the other hand, and I think this is where, rival owners are going to come into the conversation, to see the Dodgers with a payroll 6.5 times greater than the Marlins or 3 times plus greater than the Orioles. That's a disparity that other owners are going to complain about. And the last time we had a major labor stoppage in 94, 95, players went on strike, but the real internal fight was not about players versus owners. It was small market versus big markets. The owners basically, insisting that the players solve their problems at that time. And I think that's what the concern is among other teams, is that as the Dodgers sort of separate themselves financially, it's going to spur this internal war between owners.
But doesn't it kind of get lost in all this, the fact that, look, the Dodgers, they're the team that has the healthiest TV contract, $8.25 billion. You have an ownership group that wants to make this the golden age of Dodger baseball. At some point, you just have to accept the fact that the great players around the league are going to want to join the organization. Yep. It's not just about what they give you from a contract standpoint. So you're in Los Angeles, you're competing for championships, you have the baseball development department, you have the analytics department. It just feels like, to me, it is an organization that has everything buttoned up and they're fully realizing that potential. Let's not forget, Buster, we lived through the McCourt era. It was very, very different. We lived through a guy that was struggling to write checks for his players when it came to payday. So we're enjoying this.
As you should. And look, I think those late 90s Yankees teams are a great comp to what's going on. Not only the Yankees have a lot of money, that was a given, but they developed Derek Jeter and Andy Pettitte and Mariano Rivera. And on top of that, you had players, star players wanting to come to them. When Roger Clemens was traded by the Toronto Blue Jays, he basically, through his no-trade clause, forced his way to the Yankees. Chuck Knobloch did the same thing. That's kind of where the Dodgers are, right? If you are a successful veteran and you want a chance to win a World Series, what team gives you a better chance in this moment than the Dodgers? So, we have focused a lot on Sasaki during the course of this offseason, but you think about a guy like Michael Conforto, comes over from the Giants on a one-year contract. He's had some ups and downs. He's had some injuries. My goodness, he's going to have so much fun this year being on this team. He's not going to have the same sort of role that he had when he was with the Mets, when he was always a full-time player, and there's no question he's going to be in the lineup, but he's going to the Dodgers because he wants to win a championship in part. And I think that's how the team is viewed by a lot of players right now.
Yeah, and I'll get the baseball analytics department, the ticketing sales, everybody in the Dodgers organization has upped the bar that you need to have in an effort to succeed. And that's right. What Roger Clemens, Chuck Knobloch, I think is his name. All those guys wanted to come to the New York Yankees and go to the Yankees. It was because of the fact that George Steinbrenner, unlike his idiot of a son, ass of a son, Hal Steinbrenner, George Steinbrenner made the Yankees a want to be at destination. You wanted to wear those pinstripes. You wanted to be in that uniform. Okay. The Dodgers are doing exactly that. Sure, the Dodgers can spend $10 billion on payroll if they wanted. That would be freaking crazy, right? They could spend $5, $6, $7, $8 billion, $3 billion, $30 billion. It doesn't matter because it's a culture that you create, a winning culture, an $8.25 billion TV contract. When you know that people are going to listen to you on the radio, they're going to watch you on TV, they're going to listen to you in the car, they're going to watch you on their phones, wherever people are, they're going to want to watch you, and they're going to have the chance. And not only that, but that development of players, like I talked about, like they did with Jeter and LeMahieu and all those guys.
Yeah, and Buster, one thing that I've been kind of saying is, last time I checked, isn't Boston a major market? Why didn't they pay Mookie Betts? Is Atlanta a major market? Why didn't they pay Freddie Freeman? The Angels, they didn't even want to match what Shohei Ohtani was getting for the Dodgers. Is there kind of a misconception out there in your mind as far as how they're utilizing the deferrals and just how they're going about their business and knowing that other teams can do the exact same thing if they wanted to?
Especially when you're talking about deferrals that don't have interest. Yeah. This is not, it's almost a no-brainer in business. When I covered the Baltimore Orioles, Peter Angelos, the Orioles owner, loved to defer salary that was without interest because he knew he could use the money. That's exactly what the Dodgers are doing. Every other team has the opportunity to do that. They should do it. And I think Peter Seidler, the late great owner of the San Diego Padres, demonstrated to a lot of other owners, look, it's not only about what your cash flow is, but you can use the equity of the franchise. The idea that the Padres now went from being, generally speaking, a small market team to being a place that's probably one of the most popular games to attend. That's because Peter Seidler decided he wanted to build something great. You talk to folks with other teams, they think the Padres are nuts with how they spend money. They think they're going to have a problem financially going forward. I asked Peter about all that a couple of years ago, and I'm behind home plate in San Diego, and he looked at me and said, we'll be fine. Because he knows that the equity of the team is way up. So you hear some of these owners, I know Tom Ricketts bought the Cubs for $865 million, and now it's worth God knows how much money, $3 billion, $4 billion. You're telling me that signing a $150 million player this winter would have potentially threatened his wherewithal? I don't think so. I agree with you. The premise of your question that other owners can do more.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things too where, you got the proximity, LA to Japan. We know that is favorable for Japanese players. Kind of got to go back and thank Walter O'Malley for moving this team to Los Angeles. And the organization got Sandy Koufax behind you, players that have made this an iconic franchise. But in your mind, I know it's a very nuanced conversation. It could be a 2-hour-long podcast about having a salary cap or a salary floor. But do you think there will be any change in the next 3 to 5 years when the next CBA comes around too that could negatively impact the Dodgers and how they're going about constructing their roster?
And before we get there, just a real quick thing. We already talked about this. But yeah, the Dodgers are deferring so much money. They're calling, the deferrals. Oh, the Los Angeles deferrals. You guys can do it too. You guys can defer all that money. Let it build interest for you guys. Put it in an escrow account. Make you guys a lot of money. It'll be worth less later. Your players basically are going to be told, hey, you come here. I'll pay you $80 million. We'll defer 25 of the or 30 million of those dollars. So you'll earn $50 million while you're here, or we'll take $40 million. We'll take half. When you leave our team, let's say you retire and you leave and then you leave our team, you get $40 million just willy-nilly. Go wherever you want to go live in Mexico and live on $40 million, bro. You'd be the richest guy on the planet in Mexico, in their eyes. And you guys can avoid paying taxes here, and you guys can move it around, and you guys can do whatever you want. We're building you a retirement account, and by the way, come and win a World Series. Oh, by the way, you win too. That's what the Dodgers are doing now, salary cap.
Not without a major war. Like, I think to get to that point, it would have to be a shutdown of the sport. We know that in the last labor negotiation, I'll try to keep it streamlined. In the last labor negotiation, the owners presented an idea for a salary cap, salary floor to the players, and it was dismissed within 15 minutes. To this point, the Player Association, has their stated principle is that they just don't believe in a salary cap. Now, I do think, and there are a lot of agents, there are a lot of folks in baseball who believe that the idea should be examined, because if it means more money for more players on the union side, why wouldn't you at least take a look at it, right? And so I'm curious to see if that happens the next time around, because privately some players are wondering, look, if there's a bigger pie for us all to share in, maybe it's an idea that we could look into. But at the moment, I think the owner or the players are absolutely dead set against this idea. And to get to that point, for small market teams to force the sport to move in that direction, they would have to shut down the sport for some time.
Yeah, it feels like that would have to be the way they would go about to get real significant change. Now, what are your thoughts a little?
Yeah. You're not going to get a bunch of baseball players making $80 million a year, let's just say, or $30 million a year, to agree to a salary cap. You're just not going to do it. Big owners are not going to want a salary cap, because if I can promise Shohei Ohtani $700 million or Juan Soto $765 to $805 million, right? Like, if I can promise them that and guarantee it, why would I then decide that the floor is $200 million? Sorry, Juan Soto, I can only pay you $200 million. And that's market wide. You're gonna make it less attractive for people to come into the sport. And I think it would cause such a major war that it just wouldn't happen.
A little bit on Roki Sasaki. Of course, that was the talk of baseball for the offseason. And what I've been kind of telling the viewers of this show is you're pretty much getting a guy who could be a $200, potentially $300 million player for less than $10 million. And one thing I've been saying is, hey, what if Paul Skeens could have just chosen any team he wanted to play for? Do you think that there should be some level of international draft or anything like that? I mean, we have things in place now, but what are your thoughts on just the Dodgers landing Roki Sasaki and how that transpired?
Well, first and foremost, he's considered already to be one of the best pitching talents in the world. And the idea that you get the player at age 23 with 6 years of control going forward, not have to sign a 30-year-old free agent, to upgrade your rotation. What an absolute win for the Dodgers. I will tell you flat out, folks with other teams absolutely believe the fix is in on this thing. They thought there was an agreement behind the scenes that the Dodgers had this thing going all along. They were mad with how it played out. They were asked, the teams, going through this process, were asked to give information to Sasaki on what they would suggest to improve his fastball. They handed that information over. Now it's proprietary information that's in the hand of the pitcher and the Dodgers. So a lot of it made teams mad. But the bottom line is the Dodgers get a great pitcher. And someone and I think the Dodgers right now are the perfect team to have him, because they will slow play him, as you know. Like, they are not going to push him. There would be some organizations that would get a player like that and say, you know what, we want you to throw 200 innings, we want you to throw 220. We're going to have you run until you fall apart. The Dodgers, if he threw 140 innings this year, it would shock me. Like, I could see with the depth in their rotation, they can protect him a little bit, and they will protect him a little bit. And in some respects, I think that means it's a great place for him to go. Now, the question of an international draft or other teams having access to that's going to be one of the arguments I think we have before the next labor agreement, where small market teams say this isn't right. That the Dodgers basically, have a beachhead in Japan for the best players there. They have an advantage over the rest of us that we can't overcome.
Yeah, and
I'm going to comment on the first part first. The Dodgers got a steal for a pitcher. They had to pay Yoshinobu Yamamoto $325 million because he could qualify as a free agent and get a major league contract. They had to compete really, really intensively. The Dodgers were at a disadvantage here. They were at a financial disadvantage. Normally, it was like, oh my God, the Dodgers, of course, because they had the financial advantage. He could have signed for $10 million with the San Diego Padres, $8 million possibly with the maybe even $10, $12 million with the Toronto Blue Jays. And he chose the Dodgers for the reasons we've discussed, because it's a winning organization. So cry me a river, okay? I don't want to hear it. And the Dodgers were at a financial disadvantage. That is just how things go. And if teams want to get mad about that, we'll let them get mad. It is on you and on your team's owners and their management and their front office to play the card of business, play the game of business and win it. If they don't, it's on them.
Joel Wolf was saying the other day, I mean, he felt like when they left San Diego, he could have signed with the Padres. When they left Toronto, he could have signed with the Blue Jays. But just all things you point out, I mean, 6-man rotation, the ability to not force him into being your number one guy. I think all those things make so much sense for Roki. So I'm like, hey, how can you blame the guy? Also, as your colleague Jeff Hassan pointed out, I mean, Shohei brought Decoy to the dinner in Bel Air. How do you say no to that? Okay, I mean, I'm not saying Decoy is a better GM than AJ Preller or anything like that, but I think that is something that definitely appealed to him. Now, when you look at Roki, so I'm like, hey, how can you blame the guy? Also, as your colleague Jeff Hassan pointed out, I mean, Shohei brought Decoy to the dinner in Bel Air. How do you say no to that? Okay, I mean, I'm not saying Decoy is a better GM than AJ Preller or anything like that, but I think that is something that definitely appealed to him. Now,
all right, I just had to rewind it. Look, normally, as Buster said, like, you have to play 220 innings, start 220 innings for a lot of other teams. If you've got Blake Snell, Gavin, I'm sorry, not Gavin. If you got Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and let's say, I don't know, Clayton Kershaw, Shohei Ohtani, Dustin May. And let's just say maybe not Dustin May. Let's say it's Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, Clayton Kershaw, and you, Roki Sasaki, right? What you now have is a 6-man rotation where you could start on every sixth day, and because Ohtani's been, maybe you start every 7th day, and Ohtani starts every 6th day, because we can then take, say, Dustin May or Tony Gonsolin and start him over you to give you more rest and let you develop and let you get better, learn new things, fix your fastball, fix your velocity, whatever. That is an awesome thing, and we'll get to Roki Sasaki, but that's a steal, and it's an appealing thing for Roki Sasaki.
When you look at the rest of this Dodgers roster, I mean, on paper, they have a chance to really potentially go for the all-time wins record. We know that the Cubs, 1906, the Mariners, 2001, tied for 116 wins. A team that you were very closely covering in the late 90s, the Yankees, they won 114 games in the regular season, also 125 games total when you combine the regular season and the postseason. Question I ask is, if you're the Dodgers, do you get enticed to try to go for that all-time record, knowing that you won the World Series with 98 wins last year? I mean, how do you think that comes into play? And do you think this team has the potential to be an all-time team?
So I think that is going to develop organically, the idea of becoming the all-time wins leader in a year. Beat the Yankees record in 98 of 125. But I could easily see, I mean, Dave Roberts, the Dodgers manager, as you know, grew up a Lakers fan. And one of the famous moments in Lakers history was, because in the NBA, there was a parallel situation. Teams hadn't gone back-to-back. And that at a championship rally, Pat Riley laid down the gauntlet for the Lakers and basically turned back-to-back, right? And he was pushing that team to try to do that. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that's what Dave Roberts does this year. If he makes that the focal point, let's become the first team that goes back-to-back. Now, we'll tell you, having covered that 98 Yankees team, that, you know, that team was incredibly motivated after getting knocked out in the playoffs in the first round the year before, and they brought an intensity to the ballpark day after day after day, which is really hard in a way that I had not seen, and I don't think we've seen hardly ever. They finally kind of ran out of gas a little bit at the beginning of September, and that's going to be the challenge for the Dodgers, you know, as the season goes along, is keeping up that day-to-day intensity. You know that with a lot of great players, they're going to win a lot of great games, but if they start out the season, you know, 80 and 35 or 80 and 30, all of a sudden, that carrot's going to be in front of them, and the players will organically begin to think about driving for a record in the way that the 98 Yankees did, in the way that the 2001 Mariners did. You know, just a few years after the Yankees won 114, the Mariners won 116. That becomes something that pushes the players, especially through that lagging times of the regular season. So it can be a plus. But I will say, you know, knowing that the Dodgers' focus is going to be on winning back-to-back in the World Series, I think that they probably will fall short, because they'll make personnel decisions to protect their chances in October. They're not going to drive these guys, you know, to play every day all through September to, you know, to put themselves in a position to break a National League win record, for example.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. If you get off to an extremely hot start, you're almost going to be pressured into going for it, just like the Patriots.
Internally,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the best thing, right?
For sure, yeah.
The players, the conversation among them, where they start to push each other a little bit. That's how those things develop. You know, not Dave Roberts or, you know, there's somebody in the front office saying, hey, we got to get this record.
No, totally, 100%. I think if you're a Dodgers fan, you think to yourself, well, what happened in 2022 when we set a franchise record, 111 wins, and then you lose to that Padres team in the first round? So you kind of balance it out. But hey, winning's fun. I mean, it's fun to drive around your teams winning and you're having that success. Now, as far as
we won 111 games. We beat that Padres team 14 of 19 times. And what happened? 14 of 19 times, and then they beat us in 3. So I don't want to hear it at all. They beat us in 3, and we lost the series. Okay. And that's just what happened. I want more wins as a Dodgers. I can't believe they lost, but they won 98 games and won the World Series. I think the Atlanta Braves won 85 games and won the World Series. You don't need 128 wins, 130, 162 wins to win the World Series. If you get 98 wins, 100 wins, even 85, 86 wins, but you power your ass and get your gas done, like put your gas on, put the pedal to the metal in the postseason when you really need it, when it really gets intense, that's where you shine. That's what we need, and that's where the Dodgers shined.
As far as what the Dodgers might continue to finish up this roster, kind of want to ask you about a player like a Kike Hernandez. I mean, you got guys like Shohei and Freddie and Mookie, all these future Hall of Famers, All-Stars. I mean, for teams that you covered, how important is someone like a Kike Hernandez to bring back and just really put the finishing touches on a roster like this?
Incredibly important. Again, my experience in covering an all-time great team was that 98 Yankee team, and I think guys like Luis Sojo and Tim Raines and Darryl Strawberry, who at that time, he wasn't the MVP Darryl Strawberry, he was a part-time player, they were really important. What separated that team was its depth, and that's what the Dodgers potentially have that. I think that's where their bullpen moves have come in. They've got good relievers. Ryan Brazier's a good reliever, but it does seem like that they feel like, look, if we can go from having a grade B reliever to having an A- reliever, we're taking that, right, every time. And again, the season is so long. I think that if you're a fan and you look at the players and you tune in one game and you imagine them having the same intensity that you did when you played Little League, it's not that way. This is their daily job, and they go through ups and downs like the rest of us do, where some days you're really into it and some days you're not really into it. And so to have personalities that bring energy to the park, positive energy to the park, like Kike, that's incredibly important. Now, I haven't broken down the Dodgers roster and who would Kike replace per se, who else do they want to get playing time for, guys in the minor leagues, what are they going to do without them this year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I think you absolutely have to pick the right personalities for those spots at the end of your roster.
Yeah, absolutely. And those guys you bring up, Raines and Soho, and those guys are so important. I've been calling Kike, you brought the Lakers earlier. He's like the Dodgers version of Derek Fisher, where he might not be in the Hall of Fame, but he's so important to their success as a role player. Now, last time we spoke, Buster, it was before the postseason began, and I asked you about Dave Roberts and all.
All right, before we get there, I think they need to bring Kike back. He is clutch in October. That is the only argument I'll ever make. It is. I'll make that argument. I'll make that argument all the time because Kike Hernandez is clutch in October. That's exactly what you need. Let's go.
The pressure that comes along with this job because of the early exits in the last couple of seasons, the way the roster is set. Well, he went from maybe a guy who maybe if they got swept, maybe he's on the hot seat or there's going to be at least loud questions about him. Now do you think it's a part where he's just headed for the Hall of Fame and he basically has his job for as long as he wants it?
I don't know about having the job for as long as you want. I mean, when you're in a job like that, you just never know. Joe Torre was a manager of those teams in the late 90s, and by 2007, the relationship kind of was you could feel it starting to splinter a little bit. I don't know what's going to happen with Dave going into the future, but I agree with your premise that he has built a foundation for a Hall of Fame career as a manager, right? He wins the World Series this year, and they become the first team to go back-to-back since the 98-2000 Yankees. I think it checks the box. I think he's in that kind of position, and certainly with his contract situation, he's in a great position of leverage now. We saw Craig Counsell, 15 months ago, play out his free agency, wind up signing a record deal with the Chicago Cubs. Dave now has demonstrated he can lead a great team of great players, and be a plus on that. And to hear all the personal endorsements from guys like Max Muncy after the World Series really spoke to that. So he's got a lot of leverage going into this year with his contract situation.
Yeah, just wild how just a World Series changes things so quickly. Yeah. I mean, I remember just reading Dodgers books years ago thinking, wait a minute, the fans hated Tommy Lasorda at one point. I thought he was just beloved the entire time he was a Dodgers skipper, but turns out during the course, there's some rough times. I think Dave is at that perfect spot. But we got Buster Olney joining us here on Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast we show on YouTube. Lots of comments, lots of people showing you a lot of love. And they want me to ask you about Nolan Arenado. Now, Nolan Arenado is one of the best defensive third basemen, if not the best defensive third baseman of all time. He has made no mistake about the fact that he has an affinity for the Dodgers, grew up loving the Dodgers. Do you think that there's any world where they would go that direction and potentially swing in a deal for Arenado?
A stat to back up your point about him being a great defensive player. Earlier this week when Ichiro was voted in the Hall of Fame, in his first 10 years in the major leagues, he won a Gold Glove in every season. And I think he's tied with 3 other players for that. One of those is Nolan Arenado, who won a Gold Glove, in every year. Look, he has been on a platter for teams to make a trade for months. And I asked about the Dodgers about 6 weeks ago, and I have to protect the source, I have to sort of phrase it this way. I was told if the Dodgers wanted him, they would have gotten him. Right? It's not like it's been a secret that he's been available, and to this point, it doesn't look like that they're necessarily that he's at the top of their list in terms of an interesting player. One of the questions would be, I think, and I'll use what happened with Ichiro as an example. When he got traded from the Mariners to the Yankees, Brian Cashman told me this the other day. He sat on the side of the road, he pulled off the road when he was driving from East Florida to West Florida, and basically ran through all the scenarios with Ichiro. Look, are you going to have a problem if we pinch hit for you? Are you going to have a problem if we bench you? Are you going to have a problem not starting? Because, in Seattle, perception of Ichiro was that he was somewhat difficult for the manager. So Brian Cashman ran through that. A similar conversation would have to take place with Nolan Arenado, given the Dodgers culture. That Chase Utley came in and helped establish this, where players were okay being part-time players. Would Nolan be okay with that? I don't know, but I think that would probably be his Dodger experience if he were to be traded to LA.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And just look, Max Muncy is kind of one of those guys that on other teams, he's your all-star, slugger in the middle of your lineup. The Dodgers, he is almost an afterthought sometimes, and they still like him, and he's still very productive. My favorite Ichiro stats, too, about the Gold Glove thing, he led the league in singles 10 years in a row, and there's only been 2 times you've had one guy hit over 200 singles in a season. It was him, man. I mean, this guy was incredible. I saw a picture of him meeting Peter O'Malley in 1995 wearing a Dodgers jacket. I'm like, man, what could have been, right? It would have been pretty awesome. So, good stuff.
All right. I think Nolan Arenado is just a guy that I don't trust him now. I think earlier in his career, he was absolutely a devil to the Dodgers. He was just great, just greatness all around. I mean, 100, 200 singles. He won a Gold Glove every single year of his first 8-10 years in the league, in the major leagues. And look, we have Max Muncy at third base. He's an average defender, above average, I would say, not even below. I don't know how many games I've done with our guy Oscar Montiel when we've streamed them, where we've seen Max Muncy throw away a game or a run or whatever, and he couldn't save a run or he couldn't do anything, or he makes a defensive mistake and it creates a mishap, right, for a pitcher, right? I've seen that all the time. But Nolan Arenado had a chance like 2-3 years ago, maybe even 4 or 5, when Max Muncy was injured and he wasn't even coming back anytime soon at any time. And even if he did, he'd have to rehab, develop, and get back to what he was after he blew out his elbow in 2021. Nolan Arenado could have come at that time. And had he come at that time, I think the Dodgers would have taken him. And not only that, but the Dodgers were going to offer him a deal. And he said no. The Dodgers were in on him. So I don't want to hear any more about Nolan Arenado. He's just not going to be a Dodger. If the Dodgers wanted him, like Buster said, they would have gone out and gotten him, offered him a deal, something. Too late. Sorry, Nolan. You're not going to be a Dodger.
And then Jack Flaherty, real quick, I want to ask about Jack Flaherty and his market, because we've seen, Blake Snell goes to the Dodgers, Fried to the Yankees, Burns goes to Arizona. Why do you think that the market is a little softer than what was originally anticipated for Jack Flaherty?
So here are my two questions about it. I don't know the answers because you're not in every meeting. You're not in every conversation. Because Jack, a lot of times when free agents are not signed at this point, your first question is, well, they tied to draft pick compensation, right? Nick Pivetta, for example, is in that boat. And you wonder if that's part of the reason why he's having to wait. Jack's not tied to free agent or to a draft pick compensation because he was traded in the middle of last year. So one of my questions would be, what's been the ask, from Jack's camp to teams? And maybe there's a big gap between what he's looking for. And we know that the Yankees flunked him on a physical last year. They're not doing that on a whim. And I suspect that teams, and I don't know, I don't have his medical records, but it would be one of the questions that I would ask. I wonder if, how many teams have looked at the medical records? Is that a factor as it was with Jeff Hoffman, who originally worked out a deal with the Atlanta Braves, and when that fell apart, he worked out a deal with the Orioles, and that fell apart because of the physical. So I'd be curious to see what teams are seeing in Jack Flaherty's physical.
It's got to be a factor. You saw the fastball velocity kind of dip towards the end there, but if I'm Jack Flaherty, I'm like, hey, I signed the 1-year deal. You put together a really good season. I should have a contract by now. But you've seen teams kind of go to some of these shorter-term deals for starters. Maybe it's the case for him. I don't think he'll be back to the Dodger, but he's very popular here in Dodger. I don't know if you saw him kind of making Manny Machado go back to the dugout, nod those words. He's kind of got that once a Dodger, always a Dodger feel. But Buster, last question.
All right, before we get to the last question for him, I love Jack Flaherty. I adore him, but I do like him. I adore him as a Dodger, but I don't really want him back. Game 5 of the Game 2 of the NLDS. What happened? What a game in the NLDS. The Padres ran all over him. I think no. Let's actually use a better example. Game 5 of the NLCS. What happened? No, Actually, yeah, Game 5 of the NLCS. What happens? He goes to New York, and the Mets beat the crap out of him. And thank you, by the way, to all of you that are on Twitter, 45 viewers on Twitter. Thank you to all of you that are watching on YouTube as well. Be sure to comment in the chat, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, press the notification bell so you don't miss any of these clips, videos, shorts, live streams, or community posts or recaps or anything we do. Follow us on TikTok, support us on PayPal. Anyway, he absolutely, and I'll check the chat in a bit. Someone's telling me they're writing. He got trampled in New York. He gave up that game. His fastball went down in velocity, way down. And it was like 8-3 or something like that. Game 4 of the World Series, before Game 5 and before all that happened. What happens? He gives up a hell of a lot of runs, and the bullpen was just gassed out. They lost their gas, they lost their fuel, their energy, their strength and ability because they've been used so much, and they were used more than I use my fridge. Okay, for my Cokes, for my Coca-Colas. Just saying. All right. He was not great. He gave up 14 of 18. He gave up 18 runs in the regular season when he came to the Dodgers in June, July. 15 of them were home runs. 14 of 18 runs were home runs. I'm not going to miss Jack Flaherty at all. I'm not. I like him, but I'm not going to miss him. So, yeah, I wonder what the problem is, why he hasn't signed, but I know that he wants to be back. I'm just not seeing it.
Question I have for you is, we had talked to Stan Kasten a couple days ago, and one thing he said was, look, baseball's not like basketball or football, right? Where you put together the best roster, you have the best player, and there's a good chance you win. Still, right now, the other teams have a 3/4 chance to win the World Series compared to the Dodgers, right? But next season, are you taking the Dodgers to repeat, or are you taking the field? The Dodgers versus the field to win the 2025 World Series?
So if I applied Stan's theory, and Stan's right about this, then you would definitely take the field because you
It's
still have
baseball,
to go
right?
through a short series. You have to go through a short series, a number of them. And we've seen the Dodgers have the best team in the past and not win the World Series. That's just a fact. The year the Braves won the World Series, they won 88 games. The Phillies made it to the World Series to place the Astros after being, the lowest seed, I think, in the National League, 87 wins or something like that. And there are the good teams. Look, I thought the Profar signing for the Braves was excellent. They're getting Spencer Strider back, Ronald Acuna Jr. The Phillies were the best. We all thought they were the best team for most of last year. You saw it in the power rankings throughout the year, and then they stumbled at the end of the year and then fell apart completely in the postseason. San Diego clearly is not afraid. Those players are not afraid of the Dodgers. But I think right now the Dodgers are overwhelming favorites to win the World Series, and that would definitely be the safe pick.
Hey, we love to hear that. And Buster, we love when you join us here on Dodgers
All right.
Dugout Live. We can.
I think the Dodgers are absolutely capable of winning the World Series this year. I think they're probably going to the World Series. But again, baseball's not like football, not like hockey, I would say not like football, not like basketball, where I can put LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Dalton Knecht, all those guys. I can put Patrick Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, all these guys. I can put Josh Allen, Amari Cooper, all those guys on a team, and most likely they're all going to win. The Chiefs are going to win Super Bowl, by the way. I see it, unless the Bills make an upset, which, come up with an upset. The Dodgers could absolutely win the World Series, but in basketball and football, it's more likely that you put a good team together like that, you're going to win. Things can happen, but in baseball, you could put the greatest, baddest, biggest, badass team of all time in your corner on that list, on that field, and you could still lose it all. Just saying. So let me check the chat here, because someone's telling me that there's a chat. I'm going to go down. For those of you in the chat, I'm not sure if there is someone writing. Let me know if there's a personal friend texting me. Let me check on Twitter. Wow, 60 views. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. So no one's replied. Let me see here. Wow. Thank you so much to the 48 viewers we have currently. This is awesome. I'm so excited. What story to cover next? Let's talk about this guy real quick. Let's go into Gavin Lux, because I think it's very important. Let me just bring him up here. Let me bring up the photo here, because you guys are gonna love this guy. Let's go Gavin Lux. I just gave it away, but it's not gonna open. Let me do this. All right. All right, so this guy here. Did my Gavin Lux. I have adored Gavin Lux for a long time. He comes in, he's kind of an average hitter, a little above average, and he's from Kenosha, Wisconsin. His uncle Augie helped him play baseball, and his mom, I think her name was Heather, was awesome too. They did a Backstage Dodgers special on him. And I will say this. Okay. He was awesome. Wow. 49 viewers now. Thank you so much. Gavin Lux was cool, but he had that ACL tear in spring training. He couldn't be the shortstop. He comes back, and he's absolutely obliterating that shortstop position, meaning he was absolutely awful. And they got off of that right away. And they're like, nope. Nope, we gave you that opportunity. No. Like, get out. Get out. They put Mookie at short, Miguel Rojas at short, pretty much. And they put Gavin Lux at second. And then, of course, they moved Mookie to the outfield. Mookie was everywhere. And Rojas went in there. Edman went in at shortstop. Kiermaier too. Point is, first half of the season in the 2024-2025 season, last regular season, he wasn't great. He was absolutely miserable. It was awful. It was embarrassing, abominable. And I hope that his social media wasn't that active because, guys, I mean, he just wasn't that great. Second half, he became one of the greatest baseball players in the MLB at that point. And he became a clutch hitter in the postseason. He was incredible. But I think there's always been a timeline for Gavin Lux. And Dodger Blue, Dodgers Nation, all Dodgers with Clint Pasillas, I think his name is, with Alana Rizzo, former Dodgers reporter. Foul territory. All these guys have been saying it. It's time for Gavin Lux to go because I think the Dodgers just don't have a lot of need for him. There's nowhere to go anymore. He got his 2 world champion rings. And I think for him, it's going to be an adjustment because he's going to go from a 50,000 crowd a night, absolutely incredible, pompous atmosphere to a world champion atmosphere to, and a team that's going to go to a playoffs and a world championship, right? World championship to a team that's not in the Reds. And I think they were, when they signed Hyun-Sung Kim, or Hyun-Sung Kim, I guess is how you say it, they were still keeping Gavin Lux around, and they were telling him, yeah, maybe, and then they traded him. And I think what happened is that Gavin Lux pretty much understood one thing. And that one thing was, okay, I'm probably going to be traded. Because as I have said, they had a timeline for him. They did. And I'm not sure what else they were going to do, but he just wasn't going to be staying. It just wasn't going to be happening. Now, the guy that they traded him for, now they got a couple prospects. They got some prospects that were okay. Whatever, a couple of 30th round draft picks, whatever, right? But the guy they got, the guy that I really want to talk about, I'll just present him here. Let me just bring him up here. The guy they got him for is an outfielder. And I don't know what to think. Someone's asking in my messages about oh wait, I picked the wrong thing. Michael Conforto. He was a New York San Francisco Giant. We need to put him in a shower and get him better and cleaned. He's gonna have a lot of fun. He won't be on the field every day, but he's gonna have a lot of fun on a world championship team. Not a lot to say about Michael Conforto, although they did sign him. We did say that we were going to take a look at the offseason signings. Okay, point is, they signed him for this guy here, Mike Sirota, and he is an outfielder, I think right or left field. He could play either right field, left field, even center. I'm not so sure about Mike Sirota. I think the Dodgers could develop him a lot better than the Reds did. I think, is he an upgrade from Gavin Lux? Probably not. Is he better than Gavin Lux as a hitter? Maybe. I have yet to see. I didn't see too much greatness with him with the Reds. I didn't see a lot. But again, what did I say earlier in this stream? The Dodgers can turn you into a superstar. And this guy Conforto coming over here, hey, look, this could be a good deal, right? And who knows? And I think for second base, regarding Gavin Lux at second base, I think it might be Hyun-Sung Kim. At some point, you're going to think, okay, Hyun-Sung Kim, we don't know what his abilities are. We'll get to him in just a little bit. We'll get to him next. But you might replace him. You might replace Gavin Lux with Hyun-Sung Kim, or you might have Kike Hernandez if he's traded, if he's not traded, or if he doesn't sign somewhere else and he comes back to the Dodgers, play second or third or whatever. I think maybe you move Mookie Betts to second, you play Edman at shortstop, whatever. The point is, someone's got to replace Gavin Lux. Conforto and Teoscar and Sirota are not going to be replacing him at second base. They're outfielders for a reason. It's just that way. Now, let's get to this guy here. Let me bring him up here. The Dodgers made a couple international signings. It wasn't just Roki Sasaki, okay? They made a couple signings. Whoops. Those signings included this guy, him. Hae-Sung Kim. Hae-Sung Kim is a player that the Dodgers signed because why not? I think he was I know he's from the KBO. I know he played with Hae-Sung Kim. I know he's kind of like that Hae-Sung Kim like player, but he's a guy that he's got a lot of speed. He was the fastest guy in South Korea since 2018. He's a bat to ball kind of guy like Tommy Edman. He's not going to hit for power, but his defense is where he gets all the accolades and has won, the equivalent of Gold Gloves and Silver Sluggers and all that. When hitting, right? Not Silver Slugger, but just the Gold Gloves. He could be at second. He doesn't have the most accurate arm. We'll hear from Ji-Ho Yu. He is a reporter out there in South Korea. He can tell us a lot more. Point is, what I'm saying is that this guy could replace Gavin Lux at second base because of the fact that that's where he's been playing. He's only played about 8 games in 5 years or 3 years with South Korea, in South Korea in the KBO. He's been playing second base most of that time. And if you're going to maybe send him down to AAA to get better, maybe you're going to just develop him. Maybe he's a platoon player. You bench him, whatever, whatever. I think that, Arenado, I don't know if he'd be okay with being benched. But with Hae-Sung Kim, who knows what the Dodgers are going to do. I know he's probably throwing. I know this month is pitchers and catchers are meeting. But when the hitters start coming in, you're going to start to see what they do more with Hae-Sung Kim. You're going to start to see it. And what I'm going to say is I hope they put him at second. I think he's the most valuable person there to be at that position. He doesn't have the most accurate arm, but I think it could work. Now, just to check the chat, let me check this. Let me check to make sure I have the tab ready to go. All right, I don't. Let me grab it. Now, once again, make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Press the post notification bell so you don't miss another one of these clips, another one of these live streams, the shorts we do, the community posts, and the recaps we do. When we do baseball, we do every 3rd, 6th, and 9th inning recaps, basically a post-game anyway, here, let me get this. We do that for baseball. For hockey, we do period recaps. For football, we do quarter recaps. So be sure to be here and subscribe for that. Follow us on TikTok. I'm at JSports58. Follow me there. Support us on PayPal so we can keep paying the bills. On Twitter and Facebook, I'm at FluffyJA97. On Instagram, I'm at FluffyJA97. Let me just get this together here. Let me just do this real quick. All right, we have another video. And all right, so hold on a second. I'm having some little bit of difficulties. All right, here we go. Let me check the chat here. Down. All right. All right, no comments as of yet. You guys can comment in the chat. Let me know what you guys are thinking. If you guys want to comment about any of the topics we're talking about, would love to hear your thoughts. I don't just want to talk at you. I feel like a damn professor. I want to be able to. I don't want to just talk at you, but I would like to interact with you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe when the channel gets bigger, that might happen. All right. Jiho Yu is a reporter. He went on Dodger Blue on a part of the Diamond Blue Wire Network podcast. I don't remember Mini Diamond. I don't remember the name of their network, but it's Dodger Blue, presented by Dodger Heads, I guess is what they're called. And Jeff Spiegel did an interview with Jiho Yu on Hae-Sun Kim. Let's go ahead and watch it. It's about his contract and just some predictions on where he'll go because we're on Hae-Sun Kim.
Yeah, you posted on social media that some folks from Korea, when Dave Roberts made that comment saying, hey, our scouts like this second baseman, that there were some people in Korea that started connecting the dots about 9 or 10 months ago.
I'm going to get some soda real quick.
About how this signing might take place. Is that fair?
Yeah, one of the scouts from another club, who shall be, I guess, I will not identify the scout, but this scout told me that, you know what, this is probably game over for the rest of the league, because once the Dodgers say that publicly, their manager said it publicly, that their scouts like this guy, the other team will probably not be able to match whatever the Dodgers offer him. And I guess I posted on Twitter that scout was only half right. The Dodgers did end up getting Kim, but some other team made a bigger offer, turned out. The LA Angels actually offered him 5 years, $28 million, but Kim took $12.5 million guaranteed for 3 years and plus two years for options, which would allow him to make up to $22 million for 5 years to sign with the Dodgers. I guess he wanted to be, this is not a shade on the Angels, but I guess he wanted to be with the winning team, right? The winners, and surrounded by MVPs and great All-Stars and all that.
Yeah. Again, the Dodgers were at a financial disadvantage with foreign money and the international pool money, but the fact that more teams were offering a lot more money to him. Okay. Actually, no, he could be posted, and it's different from I guess the KBO to the MPB or whatever. He was offered $20 million, $25 million by the Angels, and he still chose the Dodgers because the Angels are a crappy organization. I'm sorry if there are Angels fans, but they are. Artie Moreno takes awesome players like Logan O'Hoppe and all those guys. That's an awesome name. That's funny. But really good players. Mike Trout, I think of. And he doesn't develop them well. He doesn't create a championship organization, a championship culture, a winning culture. Your stadium doesn't have a lot of cool features. And Hae-Sun Kim knows that. And for all the reasons we've discussed with Roki Sasaki and all of them for coming to the Dodgers, that's why he wants to be here. Hae-Sun Kim wants to win.
We'll get to the scouting report in a second. You mentioned the numbers. It's 3 years and $12.5 million guaranteed. Like you said, he could have made closer to $5 million a year over 5 years guaranteed had he signed with the Angels. Instead, he takes a 3-year deal with the Dodgers with 2 additional option years that I believe it's team option. So the Dodgers can choose to exercise, which would give him an extra $10 million if they did. All of these numbers are well below what some of the projections were for Kim. Were you surprised at how small the guaranteed number was for him compared to some of the other guys who have come over from the KBO over the last few years?
Actually, I was not. I was surprised that some of the speculative numbers were out there. They said he was going to get 3 years for $20 million guaranteed. And that's a lot of money for someone who might end up being a utility guy on a good team. So no, I'm not surprised to see those numbers out there as far as 12.5 guaranteed money for 3 years. Let's
talk about the utility player piece. Like the scouting report, all of us in America are kind of reading the same stuff basically. As I said, you cover sports in Seoul, so this is a guy that you're way more familiar with than any of us. We can only see the box score. What sort of scouting report would you give about Hae-Sun Kim and what the Dodgers fans might be able to expect from him?
Yeah, so he spent his early years in the KBO kind of playing all over the place, right? Second base, shortstop, third base, left field, and right field. And then they turned him into the primary shortstop in 2021. After Hae-Sun Kim left for the Padres. And then he had the 1 year at shortstop. Didn't have great defensive analytics, but I would say played pretty well given the circumstances. And then they turned him into their primary second baseman starting in 2022. And then he's been the second baseman since then for the last 3 years. Just, mostly playing second base. Only 8 games total at shortstop over the past 3 years and none this past season. So he can, he has proven, at least at KBO level, he can play many different positions. And I don't know how this is going to translate at MLB level, but obviously the Dodgers like guys that can play multiple positions, right? So they can probably stick him out there in second, kind of get him to work at corner outfield positions if there's a need out there. As far as the scouting report, it's got, I don't know if you
That's a good thing to point out, is that the Dodgers absolutely adore and want a guy who can play multiple positions. Because if, let's say, I don't know, Dave Roberts wants to rest Mookie, then he didn't play a lot of shortstop, but you could put Kim in there, you could put Edman in there, maybe Edman at center field, he takes a break, you put Kim out there, you put him in right field, left field, right, and that's a good thing, because Mookie Betts can play right field, corner outfield. He can play second. He can play short. He can play a lot of positions, and that's what the Dodgers do like.
If you guys read the Baseball America projection or scouting report that came out recently, very speedy guy. More steals than anybody in the KBO since 2018 when he became the everyday player. I think 211 steals or something like that. Doesn't have a lot of power. I think he had 11 homers this past year and 10 of them in the first half. So, and that's his career high. And this is a very hitter-friendly environment in the KBO. So I'd be shocked if he does reach double figures in homers in MLB, even if he doesn't play, every day. So that's not his game. But his calling card has always been his defense. With that speed, he can cover a lot of ground. He can get to the balls in the hole. He may not have the most accurate arm, but he's got a pretty good arm out there at second base. I don't know if he's a major league shortstop at a starting level, but he can probably, spell somebody, I don't know, Mookie or somebody at shortstop from time to time. But I would say he's a better second baseman than he's a shortstop. So that's pretty much about it. And also, he did win the national.
I'll just comment on that. I just told you that he doesn't have the most accurate arm. I just said that he's a more speedy guy, and you heard Jiho you say that. He's a very good reporter out there in Seoul, South Korea. And look, I think that makes a lot of sense for a guy that is very speedy, which, look, if you got a guy who can speed his ass off, speed his behind off, his butt off, and step on the gas pedal and run from first to third in a span of like 20 seconds, 10, 20 seconds, and there's a throw coming and he can avoid double plays, he can dive, he can do all of that, woohoo! Dodgers are in for a great player and a lot of wins if that can be the case. And I think what the Dodgers are going to do is realize what his strength is, which might be second base. And his arm might not be that accurate, but you're talking about a Dodgers team that has analytics, that has trainers, that has coaching staff that are able to go, no, do this, do that, do this, do that, when they play catch, when they throw. And I think that's very important to talk about. I think that's very important to say, right? And I think they'll figure it out when he gets here.
National High School Hitter of the Year in his final year in high school, 2016, before he got drafted. So for what it's worth, he doesn't hit for power, but he can put the ball in play. He's got a pretty good contact ability, at least at the KBO level.
Yeah. Again, I just said it. He's not a hit for power kind of like a Teoscar, a Mookie, a Freddie, a Shohei, I don't know, someone like that. I guess a Muncy or whoever can come up, even a Smith. Will Smith can sometimes hit for power, and he's a catcher. You don't have to be a hit for power kind of guy. You looked at Tommy Edman. He's a bat to ball, put the ball in play kind of guy, get on base, and then run the base paths for you while you get the other power hitters to hit the ball as hard as they can, as fast as they can, as far as they can, and all you have to do is just run your little legs off, right? And Tommy Edman came in, won NLCS MVP, and won a World Series doing just that. So
one thing I wanted to ask you about, and I'll come back to his defense in a second, as I was prepping and kind of learning about him, as well as some of the other guys that have come over. When you look at KBO players, specifically the last two guys, Ha-Seong Kim and Jung-Hoo Lee, who have come over, both had immense struggles offensively their rookie season. Obviously, Jung-Hoo Lee was shortened, and we've only seen one. Ha-Seong Kim had a really poor rookie year offensively, but then kind of bounced back in years 2, 3, and 4 after that. And now we're talking about a guy in Ha-Seong Kim, who is, I think it's fair to say, a tier below, at least 1, maybe 2 tiers below offensively than those two players were when they came over. So offensively, is there reason to believe that Ha-Seong Kim can be an above average hitter at some point in the major leagues, or do you think he's kind of, you mentioned his calling card is defense and speed, and then you kind of just take whatever you get from him offensively?
Yeah, I think as far as the tiers, you compared Lee with with Ha-Seong Kim. Jung-Hoo Lee was the best player in the KBO period before he left.
Yeah.
And Ha-Seong Kim was the best hitting shortstop and one of the top 5, top 10 players in the KBO before he signed with the Padres. Ha-Seong Kim, he's not up to the level, at least as a hitter anyway. Like I said, he doesn't hit for as much power as those two guys. And Jung-Hoo Lee wasn't even a big power hitter himself either, but Ha-Seong Kim hits for even less power than his former KBO teammate. I think one common struggle with the KBO players making the jump to MLB, even the guys that came before those two, is that they had trouble handling the velocity. You're seeing, all of a sudden you go from seeing, I don't know, maybe 89, 90, 91 to an average of maybe 93, 94. And how you get to the bullpen, everybody's throwing 95 plus at least, right? So that's a big adjustment, I think. Not just the different breaking stuff, just the velocity of the pitches that they're going to be facing on a regular basis in MLB. So that takes an adjustment, I think.
You know what? I didn't realize that. That's actually a very good point. That These guys are used to, still really high fast. I just hit my hat. Really fast balls coming to them. The high velocity, fastball, a curveball, 4-seamer, 2-seamer, a slider, a cutter, whatever. They're throwing them extremely hard and extremely fast at 80, 98, 92 miles an hour mainly. These guys are going 93 to 95, 93 to 98. And if you're in the bullpen and you're only throwing 2 innings, maybe even 1 inning, and you're just coming in for the save, you're throwing at 95 to 100, maybe even 102. Some of the guys, I've seen that from even Michael Kopech. Even we'll get to those guys, and oh man, there's a lot to talk about. So be here. Point is, like, these guys, there is a huge adjustment. The ball is different. It's bigger in the MLB. It's heavier than the KBO. It's not as light. It's not going to travel as fast. And you're dealing with a lot of velocity that these guys are not used to. So, yeah, they're going to struggle. Yeah, I think Ha-Seong Kim might struggle like Ha-Seong Kim did, like Jung-Ho Lee did. And there might have been all these power hitters in the KBO. And I'm not discrediting the KBO in any way, shape, or form, because that is a dangerous league. The Dodgers could barely play against him in the exhibition games. It is insane. And yeah, the Dodgers really liked him, really liked Ha-Seong Kim when they played against him in the exhibition games. But the point is that they are going to have to adjust. And that adjustment might take either a couple months, 3 months, 6 months, right? It might take a whole season, even in the postseason, to adjust and then come back and train when they have from October to March. Because right now they only have from like January to March. And that's a lot. So, and even April, it's just not enough time. So maybe it does take them a year to adjust and they come back next year and they'll be even more amazing. By the way, thank you so much to the 61 of you on Twitter for watching. I really appreciate that.
But if the Dodgers can get pretty good defense, some speed, and then I don't know if Ha-Seong Kim can, I don't know, let's just say 240, 250 first year. I think they'll be thrilled with that number.
Yeah, I think if they just get the speed and the defense and maybe just a little bit of power from them, awesome.
I agree. And again, partially because of what other guys have done in their first year coming over, but the more I listen to you, the more it sounds like, the Dodgers have a guy on the roster, Miguel Rojas, who is a great shortstop. And prior to last season, when he was actually pretty good offensively, you sort of were like, well, he's incredible defensively at shortstop, and he's not really there for his bat. It sounds like Ha-Seong Kim, there's a little bit of that to it. And maybe because he's 25, 26, by the time the season starts, you're hopeful that the Dodgers can unlock something and that there's more in the bat. But it sounds like defense, speed, offense, maybe in that order will be his strengths.
Yeah, I agree. They're not paying him the money. I mean, it's not a lot, but they're not paying him the money to be their, I don't know, like number 2 hitter or someone who can hit like 300. So, and I don't think he has to really worry about trying to put up the same number that he did in the KBO. He won't, right? At least not in the first season in MLB. It's probably not going to happen. So he's just got to focus on doing what he can, like play defense wherever they put him. Trying to get on base, trying to steal a few bases. Bases are bigger. The KBO also kind of followed MLB's lead in terms of enlarging the bases, kind of make it a little easier for the speed runners to steal bases. So number of steals really went up in 2024. And he's going to be in the similar conditions, I think, going into MLB if he doesn't make the roster come opening day.
Let's talk defense. Obviously, you've been great on this, and I appreciate it. And I tried to repost it. There is a Golden Glove Award in Korea that is not given to the best fielder. It's basically the most valuable player at a given position. It's typically mostly an offensive award, I believe. He has won that. Only recently in the last 2 years has there been a fielding award similar to our Gold Glove in Major League Baseball. He won that both years at second base. So there's a small point of clarification. He's incredible defensively at second base, but as you pointed out, he won a Golden Glove at shortstop in 21, but that does not mean he's necessarily a valuable defender there, so to speak.
Right. I mean, in voting for the Golden Glove in the KBO, some of the defensive numbers are taken into account. Obviously I have a vote, but we get those numbers thrown at us from the KBO. Here's what these candidates did. They give us their hitting numbers, but defensive innings at different positions, and we can look up other defensive metrics and whatnot. But if all things being equal, I think the tiebreaker in most cases is the hitting numbers.
Okay.
But with the fielding award, which KBO created in 2023, that's 100% defense. So you're gonna see winners that have just no bat at all in some other positions, right? So and Ha-Seong Kim won that fielding award for 2 straight years. Basically the first 2 editions of that award in 23 and 24. So depending on what numbers you look at, he's got some pretty solid numbers. I think solid metrics at second base, a little better than a shortstop from 4 years ago. So a lot of fans here are hoping that his defense would translate to MLB. Whatever they can get from him on the offensive side of things, that'll be a bonus.
You mentioned,
yeah, and I think if he won that award and you can say the Golden Glove or that fielding award in the KBO 2 years in a row, and again, it's only been an award since 2023. Great. Take those numbers and go, what can we do at second with you? Can you actually play shortstop? Because you want a Golden Glove there. If it's not shortstop, and even here in the MLB, the Dodgers can't develop him at shortstop at all, even to sub in for, say, Betts or Rojas or Edman, then okay, second base it is, because it looks like that is his game, and that's fine. Defense is his best attribute. Mookie Betts, it's offense. Freddie Freeman, it's offense. Shohei, it's, well, I don't know, both pitching and hitting. Point is, develop him where you can, put him where he's best, where you get the most value from him.
Mentioned he has played some outfield. It doesn't sound like a ton. He's played some shortstop, and he played a bunch of shortstop of 2021. To your point, and as some other people online have pointed out, maybe it didn't go awesome. But what do you believe about his potential? The Dodgers, all the sources are saying that he's going to be a super utility guy, which sounds like second base, shortstop, third base, outfield. Is the outfield, like, clearly he has the speed and the athleticism. Is the outfield, do you think, a viable place for him to become and develop into kind of a defensive asset?
Well, I guess he's got to work at it. I don't think he's played there since 2020.
Okay.
So, and obviously major league parks are, they have different dimensions. They're bigger typically, right? So, so he's gonna have to really work at it. But given his athleticism and his instincts, the fact that he has played it before, just not in the recent past, maybe something would come back to him. Maybe they could find ways to put him out there at corner positions if there's a need. But I think mostly they're gonna look to him to play in the infield, second base, shortstop, maybe even third. But like you would know better than I do, Dodgers have a whole bunch of middle infielders, right? Like Mookie's gonna play short. Tommy Edman could obviously play second and short, and also center field. But Miguel Rojas, you mentioned, Gavin Lux was the major primary second baseman last year for them. So Kim, with Kim, ideally he's gonna kind of be like what he was in his early years in the KBO, just playing all over the place, and trying to make his contribution that way with his glove.
Yeah. One last question, I'll get you out of here, and I want to say thank you for bearing with us, because I know the time difference makes it very early, so you're doing this in a place that you normally wouldn't record. So I apologize for everybody, and thank you for being willing. Here's kind of the last question for me. When I just look at a guy that I'm not super familiar with in Ha-Seong Kim, and I look at the contract that he signed, he's 25, he'll be 26, he's making about $4 million a year with 2 team option years at the end for $5 million apiece, as we pointed out. Even if it gets to 5 years of $4.4 million, we're not talking about a high-paid player by Major League Baseball standards. I think the thing that a lot of Dodgers fans have been wondering, and I'm skeptical of just looking at the numbers, but you've seen him far more, is Ha-Seong Kim, does he have the capacity, the capability, in your estimation, to become an everyday player for a team with the aspirations like the Dodgers? Sure, there are guys that are everyday players across Major League Baseball who might not be all that good. And good can come in different ways. It could be defense and speed and struggling with the bat. But knowing what you do about KBO guys coming over to the U.S. and the Dodgers' expectations, like, do you think this is a guy that Dodgers fans should expect 12 months from now to be penciling in as an everyday starter somewhere? Or do you think over the next 5 years he's just going to kind of live in that utility guy who gets a spot start here at second, a spot start at shortstop, maybe a spot start in the outfield, and otherwise is kind of like a defensive or pinch running replacement late in games?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to be an everyday player on a team like the Dodgers, coming straight from the KBO. So, I mean, to answer your question, I think he's going to end up being sort of the super utility guy this coming season. I just don't see how, I mean, I could be wrong, but I just don't see how he could crack the lineup and become an everyday player on that team.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he could be an everyday player on a lot of other teams in MLB, right? But on this particular Dodgers team, with all the guys that they have, I just don't think that he's going to be an everyday guy. And obviously, with the money that he's making, I don't think there's any pressure on Roberts or whoever is on the dugout to make him an everyday player to kind of get their money's worth, right? So, but Kim, he could have taken more money. He could have gone to a team where he could have maybe become an everyday player, but he ultimately chose to go with the Dodgers. They're defending champions, and I don't know, he might end up winning a ring in his first year in MLB, so we'll see. So again, I don't think he's going to be an everyday player with the Dodgers, at least not right away. But he could be that sort of utility guy who can play all over the field, especially in the infield.
One other thing, quick question I meant to ask you earlier, and I'm just realizing now.
Yeah. Look, I wouldn't be angry if he was the super utility guy. Miguel Rojas is kind of that. Zach McKinstry comes to mind, and I adored him. He was the Zach of all trades, the Zach attack kind of likable guy, and he was in 2021. It's cool if he is a utility man, someone who can pinch run, someone who can pinch hit. Maybe, for example, Mike Conforto might not be a great runner. Michael Conforto, maybe Sorota's not, but you get a guy who can run the base pads for him. Or maybe, right, Freeman can run, but you'd rather someone who can run at lightning speed or at light speed. You're going to put him in the bottom of the 9th inning, 1 on base, 1 out, or 2 on base, 2 out, ready to run for you. And you replace whoever's on base with him so that he can run from second to third to home in a flash, in a matter of a daylight second. So
I have it. This is a number that I haven't been able to find. Do you have any sense about, from the offensive side, versus lefties versus righties? Like, is he dramatically better against right-handed pitching compared to left-handed pitching, or is he sort of a neutral splits guy?
Oh, I can look that up. Hang on. So he throws right, he bats left.
Okay.
So in 2024, he batted .318 against the righties and .303 against lefties.
Okay.
It's not bad, right?
Yeah.
Actually, and then he had, kind of 19 for 38 against the submarine guys. All of them are righties. So just about the same numbers last year, at least, as far as the lefty-righty. So, but again, this is a very hitter-friendly league. So it doesn't mean he's going to be able to do the same in MLB. So I'm a little bit skeptical when it comes to KBO guys, not just Kim, but all the KBO guys jumping over to MLB, as far as making the adjustments against that I mentioned earlier, develop high velo stuff.
Yeah.
But that's, it's gonna come with time.
I love it. I love it. Well, Jiho, we
All right. I agree. I think that, yeah, he might actually be able to hit for all those numbers and for power and all that against those pitchers. But again, higher velocity, harder harder thrown balls, higher thrown balls, heavier, bigger, not lighter, bigger ballpark. Depends, especially for how you hit the ball and which position you can hit it at in which direction. I think it's going to be different. And I do see him maybe being a utility guy for now, and then maybe next year he's a starter because he's not needed to be an everyday starter. He can take his time. He can develop. He can learn, grow, develop, and change up his style and his groove and his control and all that, and his mechanics and his command. But when on the bases and on the and in the batter's box, I know I kind of threw some pitching terms out there, but you get the point. I think he could be a starting piece now, or they could wait. Who knows? The Dodgers have enough pieces, and I think that's one of the reasons he chose the Dodgers is because he could take his time to adjust to the MLB. Okay, where to go now? Just saying. Wow, we got 63 viewers. So thank you, all of you, for viewing. I'm just getting the current numbers. I'll get all the numbers at the very end. I know Twitter does very well at kind of updating us here at the show. I know this is kind of a long stream, so thank you so much to all of you that are sticking by me. I just greatly appreciate you. And if you guys like what we do here, we're going to be doing some Cowboys news. We also talk football. We're also going to be talking, let's see, Schottenheimer, Brian Schottenheimer, Matt Eberflus. We're going to be talking some other things with the Cowboys. Of course, we're doing a live stream tomorrow. The stream is going to be, let's see, it's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Oscar may or may not be at the bar. If not, he'll join us. And then Aaron Faxon's also going to join us there too. And then, of course, we're going to be streaming at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific. First game is the Commanders at Eagles. Second game is the Bills at Chiefs. So be here for that. I'm trying to see which one do I let's see. Do we talk Ryan Brazier? Sure, we can do that real quick. We can do Ryan Brazier. I don't mind it. Window. All right. Just a really quick topic. I know Jack Flaherty's not coming back, but most likely not. Ryan Brazier is apparently on the chopping block because they're trying to make room because there's a tentative deal with Kirby Yates. We'll get to Kobe Yates. Kirby Yates, not Kobe. I'm going to put it this way to you guys. I don't want Ryan Brazier to go, but he was kind of below average. He got injured. He wasn't doing that well, came back, did all right, did okay in the postseason. He is a kind of guy that if you do trade him to another team, you're not going to get some amazing, incredible high-level prospect. And I think the reason why is he's a guy that's got $4 million left on his contract. It's an expiring contract. And you're going to try and get a guy that is worth $4 million. You got to get at least 3 prospects, maybe a couple of draft compensations, a couple of draft picks. The Dodgers are low in the draft picks, which makes them not very high in the international pool money. Of course, they can get up to, I think, 60% of it, 40 or 60%. And point is, I think if Ryan Brazier goes for Kirby Yates, I'm not a big fan of that move, but I'll tell you why in a second. They got to get a couple prospects, maybe a hitter they can send to the AAA, maybe a hitter they can bring on just to have as a pinch hitter or whatever, a utility guy kind of like him, or kind of like Kim, or you bring in a couple new arms. You develop them in AAA, have them come up when you need them, or you put them in the bullpen, or even a starter. But I don't think he's worth a starter. I just don't. And I don't like the move for this reason. Kirby Yates is 38 years old. Yes, he was absolutely awesome before. He had a down year, then he had a good year, but he's 38. I think Brazier's younger. In fact, yeah, he is. I don't think that you bring on Kirby Yates and get rid of Brazier. I think what they can do is wait until they can put a couple guys on the 60-day IL, maybe send them down to the minor leagues, or wait until you have a 60-man roster. That way you don't have to make any trades and you don't have to give up guys like Ryan Brazier. But I think that they might, and they'll have a stacked bullpen though. So, and we'll get to that. But point is, I don't agree with getting rid of Ryan Brazier if in that case. But if you're gonna do it, at least do it for some good draft picks, some good compensation there, or some good prospects. And if you're gonna rely on Kirby Yates, I don't know. He is older, but that is the rumor. Bob Nightingale, I think, said that they're doing a potential deal there. Pretty much, it's imminent. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go to Roki Sasaki real quick. Which one do I have? I have a regular picture. I like this one. Oh, yeah. Oh, I like this one. I like this one right here. We're getting to the end of our stream, ladies and gentlemen, by the way. We got this one, Roki Sasaki. Ooh, I'm excited for him. I'm excited. We got Teo to talk about, Teoscar Hernandez, Tanner Scott, and I think that might be it. Tanner Scott might be the closer. No, I'm gonna make Teoscar the closer, but we got a couple more things to talk about. I know it's been a long stream. I'm better than Oscar because at least I'm able to do it. Oscar's not. We have competition because I'm petty, and Oscar fails to compete against me because I'm just that great. Anyway, I'm such an ass. Let's talk Roki Sasaki. Now let me check the chat really quickly. Doubt there's any comments, but let's see. All right. Wow. So we've been live for quite a bit. So Roki Sasaki, like we said before, he does not. He's one of the most talented pitchers in the entire world, on the planet, around the world in baseball. Okay, in the globe, and he is introverted. He is, because of family tragedies, he is very much more introverted because he lost family to the earthquake and the tsunamis in 2011 in Japan. But the point is, and he's a very humble guy. He said that he didn't accomplish much. I disagree with that. I know a lot of fans disagree with that. He was incredible. Fastball hitting 102, his splitter dropping 35-inch. It is absolutely devastating. Incredibly devastating. I'd be scared to face him. He is one of the most talented pitchers around the world. And I think what you might get is this, okay? It's that he can be your 7th day, 6th, 7th day starter, even 8th day in a week, whatever, every 8th day or whatever, because he's still kind of developing. He's not Yamamoto, who was immediately ready. Now, he wasn't great immediately, but he's a guy that you can slowly go and develop. He's a guy that you can go in and you can say, hey, we're going to develop you before we get you into the major leagues. We're going to develop you. We're going to develop you, and we're going to see what you can do, because you have that depth. And I think that's where you get some awesome right? You get some awesome ability for the Dodgers to throw in. Let's say you got a really big series, a 3-game series against, I don't know, the Phillies. So you put Blake Snell game 1, Tyler Glasnow game 2, and Yamamoto game 3. All right, cool. Next day, let's throw in Ben Kasparius, Bobby Miller, although no one's mentioning him at all. He had a terrible year. Gave up 11 runs against the White Sox, I think it was, or the Cubs. It was the Cubs, I think. Yeah, the Cubs. I'm pretty sure, right? Let me know in the chat. I'm pretty sure White Sox or Cubs. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go Cubs. He did that, and he was okay. But we can put him in. We could put Dustin May in. We could put Tony Gonsolin in. Clayton Kershaw can give us about 4 or 5 innings of work. Get to his 3,000th K strikeout. You can do that, and you can then put Ohtani after one of those guys in start number 5, and then you can put maybe I don't know. You could put Sasaki after, or you could put him as number 7, right? But the point is, you can do that, and you can. Meanwhile, he's resting, he's doing exercises, he's working with the coaches, developing a new throw, a new position, greater power, upping his velocity, doing something. And look, he gave teams a homework assignment to tell him what they would do to help him fix his velocity and other ways of helping him in pitching. And a lot of teams are mad now because, oh my God, now all that information is going to the Dodgers. Idiots. Dummies. We don't need you. The Dodgers don't need your freaking info. Goodness gracious, they don't need it. Okay? Reason why is because your crap may not even work. Right? 63 viewers. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you. But the point is, the Dodgers have their own way of helping him. So stop. He's not going to go, oh, by the way, the other team told me this, so let's do this. Because it might not even be that helpful at all. He obviously didn't pick you. And look, a lot of teams, when they were speaking to him about anything other than baseball in a way, he would shut down and go like, he didn't want to hear about it. But then he would open up more. He would get more involved if you talked baseball. And that's really important. And the Dodgers, they know exactly what to talk to a player about, how to talk to a player, and how to make sure he's okay with everything. And I am enjoying every minute of it. And I think that if you can start him every 7th start, every 6th start, whatever you want to do, and slowly develop him, great. Let's go ahead and do that. So, all right. Couple more topics. If you guys want to comment, write in the chat, write on Twitter if you want to. Wow, we got 66 viewers. Thank you so much. We have been live for an hour and 53 minutes. Holy hell. Whew. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about Blake Snell. I won't put his will I put his picture up? Let me see if I have it. Let's see. I do have him. Cool. I'll just say this about Blake Snell. I'm so freaking happy. I'm so freaking happy that they got him. Look, I didn't want him. I was anti getting Blake Snell. But hey, if we got him, we got him. If you can't beat us, join us. Honestly, I think it's if we can't beat him, let's get him, because we could not beat Blake Snell. That game 6 in the World Series 2020, they pulled him out over 1 base hit. I don't really think they should have pulled him out. I mean, I think so the Dodgers could win, because once they brought in the bullpen, we won. All right. All right. Let me bring up this photo here. I think you're going to like this guy. All right. This guy was gotten after they signed this guy. after signing Roki Sasaki. Let's see. Here we go. All right, Tanner Scott. This is Tanner F and Scott. I am excited. Tanner Scott is one of the best relievers in all of baseball. If you're the Padres, you must be sad. You are a sad organization because you lose Joe Musgrove to TJ, and that's nobody's fault in any way. You lose, and not his fault, not the Padres' fault. Should have filled up your pitchers better. Anyway, Dylan Cease is a free agent. He's probably going to move on. Mexican Coke here, ladies and gentlemen. You lose Jerickson Profar. You lose Jerickson Profar. I hate Profar. I am happy he's not going to be playing us too much. He's a criminal. He's a disrespectful ass. Fighting with fans like that, absolutely horrendous. At least we got him back by winning the World Series and beating him in the NLDS. That was beautiful, beating them all. Tanner Scott comes from the Padres. And they also lost out on Sasaki. They would rather put the Blue Jays as a finalist than the Padres. Hilarious. And that says a lot. Let's get to the Dodgers, though. The Dodgers were going after either Devin Williams or Tanner Scott, two of the best relievers in all of baseball. Tanner Scott is just here to win. That's all he's here for. Nothing else. Just here to win. Not any other reason. Now, of course, the families wanted to live in LA, he and his family. And by the way, this is a picture I got from the Dodgers Twitter account. He's been wanting to live in LA. His family has too, so has Blake Snell's. They also want to win, and he could be an incredible arm. And I want to get to the bullpen. Let's say Brazier stays, and even they keep Kirby Yates. Oh, by the way, Sasaki has a great relationship with Evan Phillips, which is awesome. I like that. And he is number 11, and Miguel Rojas gave that up. I think Rojas is 12 now, but he gave it up to him. He gave that up. But anyway, I'm all over the place. But let's get back on topic. If you have a good stacked-ass bullpen like this, you could put Brazier one night. I don't know, Yates one night. Let's say Kasperius one night. Let's say Kopech one night. And you give, and Kopech is a little bit shaky to me, but he has another year to prove himself because they're not going to trade him at all, I don't think. And then you could put Phillips. And then on the back end, you get, you can get Tanner Scott. Or, you know what, even before Scott, Bruce Stark-Gratterall. Blake Trinan, who they signed for 2 years, and I love that. $22 million. And then you put Tanner Scott at the very end of it. Guys, that's a stacked bullpen. And guys, look, it depends on injury. It depends on if they're having a shaky night, whatever. And yeah, like Buster only said, they might not be in it every single day. But the point is, because they all have their bad days. Point is, that's a stacked bullpen. Barring injuries and barring, knock on wood, hopefully not a lot of injuries. The Dodgers were just plagued by injury this last season. Point is, Betts and all them. This is a stacked bullpen. And if the Dodgers can keep this up, if the Dodgers can work with this bullpen, and this is what they get, guys, this is incredible. Tanner Scott, I don't know if you know this, is one of the best effing relievers in the MLB, period. And oh, by the way, you know who couldn't hit against him? Shohei Ohtani. Shohei freaking Ohtani could not hit against him. The only guy who could get out Shohei Ohtani is Tanner Scott. And the Dodger player, more than the front office and the pitching arms, the people that were most giddy about him were the hitters. The hitters were the most giddy about getting Tanner Scott on the team because they didn't have to face him. That's why. And Shohei Ohtani was going, yes, thank God. Because now he doesn't have to face Tanner Scott. He stacks the bullpen. He makes it an eligible bullpen. We need that. We need someone. Wow, 65 viewers now. 65 viewers. Thank you so much on Twitter. That's what I'm getting. If you guys are seeing something else, great. But he stacks the bullpen. He makes it a legitimate bullpen where now we have depth on the starting rotation. We have a stacked bullpen where we can go without exhausting all of our pieces, barring injury and all of that. And it's just incredible. And I really love it. All right, last topic. I'm so sad we're ending the stream. All right. Right before I get to the last topic, make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Press the post notification bell so you never miss another one of so you never miss another one of these, any of these videos, clips, shorts, live streams, or community posts, because we do make those every now and then. Follow us on TikTok. I'm at JSports58, and support us on PayPal so we can keep doing streams like this, because it does actually take a lot of work to pay our production people, to pay our video editors, to pay all of the StreamYard platform and YouTube Premium and all of that, so that when we show videos, we can show them without ads. So be sure to support us there. And also, we would appreciate any and all donations. I know times are difficult right now with inflation and the Los Angeles fires and North Carolina, all of you guys there with the hurricane, because that's sure to do anything. We're not going to get political here, but you get it. Thank you so much for all the donations. Really, truly appreciate you all. Really appreciate it. And also on Twitter, I'm at FluffyJA97, Instagram FluffyJA97. We will be doing football tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Commanders at Eagles. Go Commanders! Cowboys. As a Cowboys fan, I hate saying that, but I have to for the Eagles because I hate the Eagles. I know I'm pissing off a lot of people. I'm sorry. I'm like, F this guy, I'm out. Also, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific. Bills Chiefs. Can Josh Allen overcome Patrick Mahomes, my mistress? Because the Chiefs are my side chick team, as Oscar calls them. They're my mistress because I like the Cowboys, but Cowboys are it's not a good marriage. A marriage is falling apart. Anyway, relationships falling apart. We'll be there. Be there or be square. Okay. Here on our channel. And on RTS with Oscar Montiel's channel. He won't let me put him on Twitter. I think the afternoon one won't be, will be. I'll post on Twitter. I'll post on Twitter just in case. The nighttime one, of course, will not be because he's going to want to put it on his Twitch, even though I get more views on Twitter than he does on Twitch. Anyway, we have fights about that. But anyway, we will be doing those streams. Aaron Faxon, our guy there, he will be joining us. Aaron Faxon 852 ARRON FAXON 852. Go ahead and follow him there. Let's talk about our last topic. I think you guys are going to like this. I think you guys are going to really... I know us Latinos adore this man. We love Teo. Yeehaw! Teoscar Hernandez. Guys, I think back to the parade. And how he cried. Because of how the Dodgers embraced him. Okay, the Dodgers embraced him. The Dodger fans, the front office, the organization, the management, the coaches, the training staff, the team, the analytics department, the development department, the scouts, everybody. The people in LA endorsed this guy who came on a one-year deal to help the Dodgers win a championship, and he does just that. He hits over 130 RBIs. He hits like 33, 34, 35 home runs, 33 home runs, I think it is. He gets on base a lot. He's an average defender. He's above average, but just average. But hey, that throw, getting that slow, sluggish Giancarlo Stanton in time. Love it. Guys, he was incredible. And everyone knew that he should resign. It took forever after the Juan Soto signing for them to sign him. But what did the Dodger fans chant when Andrew Friedman was talking at that parade? Resign Teo. Okay? That's what they were saying. Resign Teo. In fact, I'm going to go find that parade video. I know I said this was the last topic, so we're just going to extend it a little bit. Let me go find that, because let me find it here. I'm going to go find this video. I can't talk video. I'm going to find this video. All right, let me see if I can find it here. In real time, by the way. We're doing this in real time. Oscar can't do this. All right. We're going to use Dodger blue. Why not? Why not? We'll support them. All right. Let me go back here. Whoops. We're going to go present this here. All right. Let's watch this speech. It's so adorable, so sweet, so awesome. Teoscar Hernandez.
I'm about to pass it off to, I think, the most
even-keeled
human being I've ever been around in my life that carried us all the way to the World Series. Teoscar Hernandez, baby. Hey, I'm gonna go in Spanish. I just want to say thank you.
Look at him crying there.
Hey, I play this game to win. And the Dodgers gave me the opportunity to come here so I can help this organization, this city, this team, these people win a championship. You guys made this dream come true. Thank you for making me a world champion. Thank you.
Yeah. It is a beautiful time to be a Dodger fan. It is awesome to have that guy back. And guys, like the thing that I'll say here is this. You don't get the fans chanting Teo, 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 right? You don't get that. Or let's go Teo, re-sign Teo. You don't get that. Okay? You do not get that if the fans don't like you or at least want you back or appreciate you. Okay? I'm going to tell you that now. And the fact that Teo got that is crazy. Right? And he went from Seattle where he said, "Oh, I didn't really have a good season in Seattle. I couldn't hit whatever." He hit 20 bombs, but he was saying I couldn't hit any RBIs. I couldn't do anything. Right? And he comes here, and not only does he do it, he does it better than we thought he would. Better than he thought he would. Right? And look, I know that when I saw that he re-signed, I said,
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. Okay? I was like, yes. Because, guys, Teoscar Hernandez is awesome. He's just great. And by the way, those of you that couldn't re-sign him, yeah, that's you guys. Just saying. Okay? And by the way, when Teoscar Hernandez re-signed, we were going, let's go Dodgers. Let's go Dodgers. Let's go Dodgers. Yeehaw! I'll complete it. That's what we were saying. Okay? Teoscar Hernandez is a beast. I'm so excited to have him back. They developed him well. They worked with him well. And Teo was the hero a lot of the time when we needed it, when the Dodgers were down, and he got a lot of walk-off wins for us. So there you go. Well, we have reached the end of the stream. I've talked a lot. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we have streams tomorrow. Be here and or shed a tear because you're going to miss out. We're going to be streaming all day tomorrow. Why did I do this late? Anyway, thank you so much to all of you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, J Sports, that you see in the links. Press the post notification bell if you do, so you don't miss our videos, shorts, community posts, live streams, or clips. Follow me on TikTok at JSports58. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at FluffyJA97. Support us and the show on PayPal. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys like the Dodgers intro too. It's awesome. Thank you all so very much. I really appreciate you for watching. Go Dodgers, baby!